And of course, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean and my many viewers outside the Caribbean, especially in Barbados, New York, and St. Vincent. Special good evening to you all. Just a sense of humor before I go. I want 5 minutes daylight saving time. Okay, I'm not late. I'm just 5 minutes daylight saving time. Okay, all right. That's a sense of humor. What a way to start the show, right? Good evening and welcome to UTV channel 124, Saturday Sports Night, edition number 8 for 2022. I'm your host, Anthony de Beauville. And of course, you can also join us on our various media platforms. UTV channel 124. Our telephone numbers 572-7588 or 484-7588. I don't have an in-studio guest, but I will be getting in touch with 3 individuals later on in the program. I simply hope you had a wonderful week, despite it could have been school, work, or whatever your profession you're in. I simply hope it was well blessed and productive. I have a very, very packed program, tight program for you. I want you to sit back, relax, enjoy. Call a friend, tell a friend that Anthony D is on. And I'm going to bowl off with some international cricket news. Second test, West Indies versus England at Kensington Oval in Barbados. End of play day 4. Not too a short while ago, in fact. England batting the second time with a lead of 96 with 40 without loss. An overall lead of 136. Zach Crowley, 21, and Alex Less, 18. In the first innings, England scored 507 for 9 declared. Joe Root, 153. Ben Stokes, 120. Dan Lawrence, 91. Chris Wokes, 41. Ben Foakes, 33, and Alex Lace, 30. Bowling for West Indies, Verasemi Pamal, 3 for 126. Kima Roach, 2 for 68. On 1 wicket each for Jason Seals, Alzari Joseph, Jason Holder, and Craig Braffett. West Indies in reply, all out, 411 from 187.5 overs. And it's been a long time, St. Lucia, a very long time, West Indies. They have not batted for that many overs. And if they happen to lose that game, I'm pleased with the way they perform. In terms of the way they went out there and they dig deep. And that's what I want to see from West Indies cricketers. Go out there and dig deep. Craig Braffett, 160 from 489 deliveries, which included 17 fours. Jermaine Blackwood, 102. Shaba Brooks, 49. Joshua De Silva, 43. And Alzari Joseph, 19. Bowling for England, Ben Stokes, 2 for 65. Jack Lish, 3 for 118. Mohammed, 2 for 58. On 1 wicket each to Wokes, Fisher, and Lawrence. And we have some picks here for you. In the second test, West Indies versus England at Kensington Oval in Barbados. Here you have Joe Root, Craig Braffett, Jermaine Blackwood, Dan Lawrence, of course, Universe boss in the house, Chris Gale at Kensington Oval. And here you have the 2 captains, Joe Root and Craig Braffett. Still on international cricket, and I'm referring to the ICC Women World Cup, currently being played in New Zealand. A defiant, unbeaten 53 from Sherman Campbell saw West Indies, who were asked to bat, recover from 70 for 7 to post 140 for 9 in the allotted 50 overs after Bangladesh strangled the Caribbean team's middle order as the two sides played out a roller coaster first ODI meeting. This was West Indies' third win in 5 matches, as they now occupy the 4th spot in the table, while Bangladesh at 7th with just a win from 4 matches. Ify Fletcher brought the West Indies back as she helped to reduce the opposition to 60 for 5, but Bangladesh battled back to take the match to the final over before falling just 4 runs short. Scores: West Indies 140 for 9 in 50 overs, Sherman Campbell not out 53, Matthews 18, Dottin and Fletcher 17 each. For Bangladesh, Salma Khatun and Nahida Akhtar each picked up 2 for 23, while 1 wicket each to Alam Hamid and Moni. Bangladesh in reply 136 all out in 49 overs. Nahida Akhtar 25 not out, Nigar Sultana 25, while Fagana and Salma Khatun each scored 23. Bowling for West Indies, Haley Matthews 4 for 15, Ify Fletcher and Stephanie Taylor each picked up 3 for 29. And of course, the West Indies, they will play their next encounter tomorrow evening against Pakistan from 9 p.m. In fact, Pakistan, they have not won a game yet. But cricket, as you know, is a funny old game. You can never tell what can happen. And here you have the West Indies players here, Dottin and Matthews. Alam, Nahida, no, that's Matthews here. Nahida. Campbell. And of course, Fletcher picked up this wicket here. And here she's the next picture she is celebrating. Of course, she's sending a WhatsApp message to a 7-year-old son. And that was really fun here. Of course, it was a little scary moment for West Indies when Shamila Cornell is surrounded by her teammates after collapsing on the field. And that I'm referring to Thursday evening. And I simply hope all goes well with her, and it was nothing too serious. But it was a scary moment at the time on field. Some local news: the Oliver Gobert Sports Fund continued their financial assistance to sports on the island. The South Castries Cricket Association is the latest recipient of assistance for a T20 competition to commence later this month. At the checks presentation, which took place earlier this week at Cap Mesa Hotel, Director Helen Gobert indicated that Ollie was passionate about fitness and sports and would want to fund to help young people of all ages and abilities where government and sporting associations are unable to assist on their own. Meanwhile, Secretary of the South Castries Cricket Association, Ashton St. Martin, who received the check on behalf of her association, thanked the Oliver Gobert Sports Foundation for considering and accepting the request for a contribution towards the sponsorship of a T20 competition. She indicated that this would be the perfect catalyst for getting back onto the field of play, considering COVID had poured a damper on sporting activities over the last 2 years. Of course, I will be getting back to some local cricket news in a while, because I will be talking to someone. So I will be getting back to some local cricket news in a while. We turn our attention now to some local football. 4 matches were played in the SLFA Island Premier League Cup earlier this week. At the Derry playing field in a doubleheader, Grozile defeated Mabia Valley 4-0. Canaries had the better of Bamudu 3-1. At the Philip Master Grounds, Vieux Fort in a doubleheader, Central Castries and Roseau played to a 2-all draw, while Dennery collected all 3 points when they defeated Derisu 4-0. The point standing in the Premier Cup, Groselane 19, Dennery 1 point adrift on 18, Viffort South 16, Canaries 13. Masher, Mabia Valley and Derisu each on 9 points, Central Castries 5, Babono 3 and Roseau Valley 2. Matches continue Monday 21st in the Island Cup from 6 p.m. at the Dennery playing facility, La Clery versus Viffort North, while South Castries meet Labrie at 8 p.m. The following day, Tuesday 22nd, in the Premier League from 6 p.m. at the Dennery playing facility, Bamodo versus Roseau Valley, while Viffort South will take on Canaries at 8 p.m. Down at the Philip Massegrong in Vieux-Fort from 6 p.m., Central Castries play Mabia Valley, and Masher versus Dennery at 8 p.m. I will take my first break, but when I come back, I have some Dutch news, and I'll be speaking to my first guest. In 2 years, it was a sense of humor because
that's a event in 2 years, but we'll take the compliment. We'll take the compliment.
It was just a sense of humor because, let me tell you, man, so that was a risk, The final risk before lunch, my boy, if I tell you,
Well, we tried, and to be honest, coming out of, I can't say coming out of COVID because we're not totally 100% out of COVID, but certainly the 2 years of not being able to host a meet and not being able to engage the swimmers on that level, it was suddenly a great and amazing feeling to be back at the Aquatic Center and to see the swimmers competing in the water. When I introduced and opened up, we did our opening ceremony, one of the things I had mentioned is, yes, RAC had done a meet, I think about 2 weeks ago. It's really one of the first big meets that we've had in a very long time. And we were ecstatic, we were happy. Obviously, you would have found a few glitches, behind the scenes.
But
we are now getting back into the motion of the official, the officiating of the meet and getting things right and ready. As you know, we are getting set to most likely host the 2023.
Carifta.
We are in 2022. So 2023 Carifta Games here in St. Lucia. Well, swim meet here in St. Lucia. So we have to ensure that our officiating and running of a meet is seriously up to par, regionally and internationally.
Well, certainly the core of persons I saw will be put to the test next month with the RAC 21st Invitational.
Absolutely, yes. RAC should be having another meeting in 2 weeks. And Jim, in the past, you would have had international swimmers who would have participated. This year may be slightly different, as the travel is still not up to where we would like it to be, but we are getting there. And we are at that stage where we are putting one foot forward and another foot, making the steps to get back to where we used to be and certainly improving on our presentations and doing things the right way in hosting a meet.
Indeed. But interestingly, when I walked in this morning into the facility, I say, wow, I'm home. I want to be honest with you.
I'd love to hear that.
I'm home. Yeah. I felt like, what, really?
Well,
Sport is back.
We feed you as family, and you suddenly spread the news of swimming. You've done so for years.
I've been doing that now. I've been supporting swimming in St. Lucia for the past 20 years or more.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes, you have.
But anyway, so like I mentioned to my viewers or my listeners, both here and overseas, a summary on day one, top performances.
Top performances came from, we had the medal presentation, and I'll be very honest with you. I'm just retiring from, when I say retiring from the day, and I have not yet assessed, although we did a few medal presentations, you had the likes of persons like Tristan Dorville, who won a number of medals. Michaeli Shalmine is on island here, doing her spring break, and decided that she was going to do this meet. She didn't have to do it. She decided to do it, and she certainly won a few medals today. There's tomorrow, so there's a lot to look forward to. I have not yet gotten the results with whether or not we had any records were broken. I expect that we will get that this evening, and I will certainly share that with you, so that when you do your next cast, it's something, you'll be able to share some news.
Indeed.
But today was an amazing day. It was more about getting the swimmers back in the water and competing against their peers and their friends, and also celebrating our independence.
Yes, indeed, because
it is an
independence event.
Yeah, we've done this for a number of years, and we thank the Ministry of Youth and Sports for coming forth and assisting us in making sure that this meet was a reality.
And how many teams or clubs participated in terms of numbers?
This time around, we had 4 teams participating. It was the Shark Swim Club, CJ Swim Club, Lightland, and the Southern Flying Fish Swim Club from Viewfort. In total, it should have been about 116 swimmers who competed today.
Great. And you start tomorrow morning with your warm-up and, of course, first event?
Tomorrow morning, warm-ups at 8 a.m. We commence the swim meet at 10 a.m. in the morning. Tomorrow we expect it to be a shorter day, and certainly we'll be doing more medal presentations. Like I said, we had a few outstanding performances: McKaylee Shalmine, Tristan Dorville, Carrick Charles. The Carifta team, we introduced the Carifta team to the patrons who came out to support the swimmers.
Yeah.
I will take the liberty of sharing with you our Carifta team. You're looking at Tristan Dorville, Carrick Charles, Faith Jeffrey, who trains in Barbados currently, Naima Hazel, Ethan Hazel, DeAndre Blanchard, and Nakisha Louis. So we have a team of seven swimmers who are qualified to swim in Barbados for Carifta 2022. We have Yasmin Tyson, who is going to be the team manager. We have Andy Edwards, who is the coach who will be traveling with the team. We have a massage therapist, Sabina O'Dall, who we think and believe it is essential for the team's bodies to be prepared for competition. As you know, with swimming, you're using so many different muscles.
It's the first time.
Say that again.
It's the first time the Aquatic Federation is doing such, right?
Yes, this is the first time we are officially saying a massage therapist will be traveling with the team. Sabrina has accompanied the team before, and she has, somewhat by the way assisted. But this is the first time that we've decided, no, it is extremely important that we have a massage therapist with us. In the past, we've had to loan and use the, massage therapists from other islands. But this is the first time we are actually traveling with our own, and we think it's certainly a milestone for us to be doing this.
Great. But so I still hitting on the last event before lunch. And of course you had Cauldron, of course Nikisha, not Nikisha, but Nahima in the first leg. And I tell you, that was really, really exciting.
Are you referring to the relay?
Yeah, the relay. I mean, let me tell you, I want to be honest with you, Sue. I've not seen a relay. Let's put all jokes aside. I've not seen a relay like this in a long time.
It's one of the highlights of swimming, where all team members get together. There's this energy that comes with the relays when the kids are swimming. So it's certainly it's like the finale, or the finale, if you want to call it that, in a swim meet, when you see those groups and the clubs coming together and swimming against each other. So it's not just about individual events. But it's about, teams competing against each other. It is definitely a fun event. You hear the music in the background. You hear the teams cheering on. You hear the parents cheering on. You hear the crowd going, go, go, go. It is amazing.
And I must admit, it carries the first place carries 16 points.
Who is that?
The first place in the relay carries 16 points.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So everybody will go all out. But Sue,
absolutely, it carries a lot of points for each club.
But Sue, I want to thank you for joining me this evening, and of course sharing some of what transpired today. And looking forward to tomorrow, day 2. I simply hope sports enthusiasts can pop in and come and go out and support our very best in terms of swimming.
Definitely. And Tony, we definitely appreciate your support. And you've been carrying our stories. You've been featuring swimming for a number of years. We appreciate that. We appreciate your support. We are grateful to you. We look forward to completing this meet with major success. We look forward to the Carifta team going out. We intend, I'm not saying that we hope to, we intend to come home with a number of medals. It's one of the sports that persons don't speak of too often that comes back home with a number of medals. Not one, not two, but a number of medals. So we intend to come back home with a few medals for Carifta. We have strong swimmers who will be going up there to compete. They are very positive. They are very confident that they will break a few records and they will do what is necessary to make us proud.
Indeed. Again, I want to thank you, Sue, for joining me this evening. And have a very good evening. Of course, extend my greetings to your husband.
Thank you for having me, and One Audio Inc. also thanks you.
Yeah, you're very much welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. That was Sue Monplessis, the St. Lucia Aquatic Federation Public Relations Officer. And of course, her son, Terrell Monplessis, has represented St. Lucia in a number of regional and international events as well. I look forward to another exciting day tomorrow at swimming in Round the Bay. Here we have some pics. That's what one transpired earlier. And of course, St. Lucia, I can tell you, these kids, they really put a lot of effort in their training and when they come out there and compete. And when you hear people outside there talking nonsense, they need to go and see how these children train. And I'm one person, when I see nonsense, I say nonsense. When I see good, I say good. These kids put a lot of work, a lot of work. And trust me, and a lot of money from the parents' pocket. All right? So it is no joke when you see them there. You see them there just dive in. No, it's a lot of work, a lot of work. And I want to congratulate each and every one of them, from the under 8s to the over 18. Every one of them is a success story. These are some persons who receive medals or won races. Of course, 3 of these guys, they will be going to Carifta. Of course, 2, Nahima, Polius, and Nikisha. Of course, St. Lucia, we have the talent. But we just need people now to put the money by their mouth and stop the work. So our young people can go out and excel. And don't tell me you have to gain experience in St. Lucia to go out. Nope. I'll be coming to that in a while, but I'm dealing with swimming. Nikisha, Shalmine, and Naima, of course, Jonathan Caldron, and of course, Coach David Peterkin. Some of the folks there enjoying the action. Of course, athletes, coaches. I mean, it was a really good sight today, and I wish each and every athlete tomorrow all the very best in the respective events. I also going into day 2 tomorrow is the St. Lucia Athletics Association National Junior Track and Field Championship /Carifta Trials at the George Oldham Stadium in Vieux Fort. Day 1 took place earlier, so they'll be going into day 2 tomorrow. I will be joining my next guest, and I'm referring to Cyrus Sipal, and of course, St. Lucia Millet emerged champion in the first edition of the APL CPL Holden Charles Knockout Tournament on Thursday evening, when they defeated Mount Olive by 36 runs at the Badada playing field. Scores: Millet 124 for 5 in their allotted 20 overs. Kessler Shalman 52 not out. Anderson Charles 28. Emerson Charles and Zavik Gabriel each scored 14. Bowling for Mount Olive: Michael Jones, Anel Charles, Fayon Moise, and Shem Alexander took 1 wicket each. Chasing 125 for victory, Mount Olive was bowled out for 91 in 16 overs. At one point, they were 64 for 4 after 11 overs. Kenrick Victor top scored with 47. Bowling for Millet, Xavier Gabriel picked up 3 wickets, 2 wickets to Aloysius Charles, and 1 wicket each to Chauvin Leo and Dwight Giddens. At a brief awards presentation, Kessler Shalmine took most of the prizes: most runs, most wicket, MVP of the final, and MVP of the tournament. On the line now, one of the organizers for the Eagle Freight APL Premier League T20, scheduled to bowl off tomorrow, Sunday 20th, with 5 matches around the island, is Cyrus Sipal. Good evening, Cyrus.
Good evening, sir, and how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Yes.
All is well?
All is well so far.
Like I said earlier, the curtains came down on the Shaz knockout tournament. You
Yes.
you have shift your focus or attention now to the APL T20 tomorrow?
Yes, the Eagle Flip APL T20 starting tomorrow. So let me again thank all those who supported us with the Chaz knockout tournament. It was indeed a great success, as you just announced. Okay, and then, I mean, we had a large crowd that turned out at the finals, and then with the live streaming and so on. So it went very well, okay?
Great.
And again, we commend even the national players, the past national players who participate in our tournament. All right? And then Kester Shalmine, one thing, Mr. Diboville, I've always been saying, if you're playing at a higher league and you come to play at average or above average cricket, you need to show your work.
I've always said that.
That Kester did, because he had just come back from England, okay, where he had a stint there, and then he really did perform very well.
Great, yeah. But
Right.
you bowl off tomorrow in the APL. I just need you to tell me, or my listeners, viewers, how many teams participating, who play who tomorrow, and the venues and time.
Yes. Okay, so the tournament, we have 25 teams. We have 26 teams, but due to some technical problem with a team, they asked us to be withdrawn for this year. But we have 25 teams in the competition, okay? And then we have two divisions. Division 1 with 13 teams, and Division 2 with 12 teams. And the exciting thing about it, Mr. Diboville, is that at the end of the preliminary round, the bottom two teams of Division 1 will be relegated to Division 2. And the top two teams of each group of Division 2 will move up to Division 1. So not just for the championship trophy and the monetary prize that the guys are fighting for, but then there is also that idea of not wanting to be relegated, and those in Division 2 want to go up. So for tomorrow, we have now exciting matches slated for tomorrow. All right, so we have for you taking place at Balata. All right, just give me a second. Let me just pull it up again. Right, yes. Okay, so we have Labey coming up against Deriso. Labey against Deriso at La Richose. And then we also have Monrepo coming up against BTC at La Richose. So the first match at La Richose, 10:30, that's Monrepo versus BTC. BTC, that's Boys Training Center. And I'm happy, Mr. Diboville, that we were able to have Boys Training Center to be part of that tournament. And the team will comprise of the officers, the staff, and also the students who are there at BTC. We're excited about BTC participating in our tournament.
Great.
That's at La Richose.
Yeah.
Then at Moshi, we have two other matches there. We have Bokash coming up against Lague, and All Stars from Otsa coming up against United Readers. So that's at Moshi. Then we go to Grand Riviere, where we have two Division 1 matches. At 10:30, we have Balata, formerly known as Bonouvel. They will be coming up against Babono Minibus. And at 2:30, we have Rising Stars from Cicero coming up against Grand Riviere. Grand Riviere, formerly known as Mount Olive.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so then that's at Grand Riviere. Then we go to Balata itself now. We have now the match. Grozile versus Goodland. Grozile versus Goodland, that's at 10:30. Okay, and then at 7 p.m. At Balata, we have Verna now. They are coming up against Rising Sun. Rising Sun is a veteran team from Cicero. So you have Rising Stars, that's the youth team from Cicero, and you have Rising Sun, the veteran team from Cicero. And then now, after Sunday, we have the weeknights where matches will continue. So this is what we have now for tomorrow with matches all around St. Lucia. We were supposed to have matches at Bele, but in the Bele field, we have some other adjustments to make to it and finishes to do to it. So we have pushed back the matches for Bele for next week.
Great. In terms of midweek matches, you have any?
Yes. So Monday night, we have Millet coming up against Labey. So all the matches, the weeknight, is at 7 p.m. So Monday night is Millet versus Labey. Tuesday night, Grozile versus Comeback King. Wednesday night, DC United versus Moshi. And Thursday night, Goodlands versus Combined Veteran,
Great.
which is formerly known as Northeastern Veteran.
Okay. Now, coming back to you,
Yes.
I know not too long from now you will be engaged in a international event, and I'm referring to pastors versus sponsors.
Oh yes.
Are you playing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Definitely. I am, because what we did, the sponsors, we combined the sponsors with the administrators, and then the pastors, they have 1-2 elders to strengthen their team. And on the pastors team also, let me tell you, we have, for example, Pastor Randolph, who during his youthful years, he made trials for St. Lucia.
Okay.
We have Pastor Alexander also during his youthful years. I think he also made trials for St. Lucia. We have Pastor Rod Rennie, who also played on the 19 cricket. So we have Pastor Morris, who played cricket in Canada. So the pastors have some great cricketers there, and then they said they're coming to teach us a lesson. But then we have now on our team the sponsors, Mr. Jabatis, Leslie Jabatis of Eagle Freight,
okay,
along with 3 of his employees. We have Daniel Sipal of Sipal Holding, along with the brother Moses Sipal and some other players. And then now we have from the executive, Mr. Carol Henry. We have Uranius Charles. We have Bernie Joseph and others to come complement that team. So
okay,
tonight from 8 o'clock, and it will be streamed live via Eleanor Studios again.
And that's
right after it will be at T15. All right. Right after that, then we are going to have the official ceremony to launch the exciting Eagle Freight APL tournament.
And that's at the Balata playing field?
Yes, at the Balata playing field.
Great.
Mr. Diboville, let me just put a little plug there for the Babono Constituency Council. They have a special arrangement with us for the Balata playing field and the lights. Okay? We pay directly to Lucilec, and then the lights that we use, we consume, that's what we pay to Lucilec. So we don't pay an extra amount where the council is taking profit from us. They are dealing with us very well. We just pay directly to Lucilec. So I want to say a special thank you to the Babono Constituency Council.
Let me tell you, if all organizations were thinking the same way, we would have been a better place in St. Lucia, you know.
Yes, sir. And
I've been honest with you.
Now I left the best for last. We asked him to come. I'm not sure if he will be able to come because, you know, they are very busy. Honorable Kenson Kazama, who is also a sponsor to our tournament. He was there at the ceremony for the Charles Sipal knockout, and he promised that he will come tonight, not just for the ceremony, but we know him to be a past Windward Island player. He said he's coming to play also. So Mr. Kazama, Honorable Kazama, will be on show also.
The last time I saw him was 2 years ago at the Grizzly playing field in a friendly encounter, and I can tell you, he's quick.
Yeah.
I can tell you that he's quick. But anyway, I want to thank you, Sipal, for joining me this evening, and of course sharing with my viewers and listeners on the event unfolding this evening and of course tomorrow. I wish you all the very best for a successful tournament. Yeah.
Let me thank you very much, sir, for the level of interest that you are showing in our tournament and the support that you have been giving us and the airplay that you have been giving us. Let me thank you so very much, and also tonight for having me to be on your show. Though I'm calling, okay, and I'm not direct with you, but then we are still getting the message out there. So let me thank you very much for the commitment that you show to the work and to understand that, listen, head is Mr. Diboville. We have 26 teams in the tournament. Multiply this by about 15 to 20 young persons.
I tell you,
the number of young persons we are keeping meaningfully engaged. So that is, for me, that's what keeps me going, you know.
Yeah.
Not just simply to
that keep it going.
But then to provide an avenue for our young people to be meaningfully engaged.
You say that keep it going, right? So you know what kept me going? Mm-hmm. When I engage people like you and all the other national sports federations, that kept me going.
Excellent.
So you have a good one. Enjoy your game this evening. Have a good one.
Thank you much. God bless.
Yeah, you too. Okay.
Yeah.
That was Cyrus Sipal, of course, one of the organizers for the APL League T20 tournament, which literally will bowl off officially tomorrow, but there's an opening ceremony this evening. I turn my attention to some Olympic news, and I'm referring to local. The St. Lucia Olympic Committee, Inc. on Thursday 17th approved $81,579.90 for free sporting association in support of their respective programs. The disbursement will be made in the SLOC Inc. conference room in La Clery, Castries. The St. Lucia Boxing Association, SLBA, received $34,179.90 towards participation of free boxers in the 2022 AMBC Elite Men and Women Continental Championship that will be held from March 22nd to April 2nd in Ecuador. According to the SLOC, the SLBA will be making use of the $5,000 that was earmarked for preparation leading up to the Tokyo Olympic Games last year. The St. Lucia National Table Tennis Association received $11,400 towards participation in the Caribbean Under 15 and Under 19 Table Tennis Championship to be held from May 6th to 11th in the Dominican Republic, while $36,000 was approved for the St. Lucia Rugby Football Union towards assistance for a technical director for the next 12 months. On hand to receive the checks from SLOC Secretary General Terry Matthews were Chris Wells, PRO Tournament Director, and I'm referring to the Tennis Association, Owen Jia, Vice President, St. Lucia Boxing Association, and Roger Butcher, President, St. Lucia Rugby Football Union. Alfred Emmanuel, SLOC President, stated, the SLOC Inc. has approved $177,839.90 for 6 members for 2022. He said that the SLOC Inc. remains committed to assisting members for the development of the sport. Emmanuel noted SLOC Inc. does not receive financial assistance from the government of St. Lucia or the private sector. That position, he added, was deliberate in order to afford members the opportunity to tap into those resources. Listen to this, St. Lucia. Emmanuel called on members to step up the game when securing funding for the various activities, adding that funding from the SLOC must be justified by impressive performances. We also want our members to recognize the fact that with the limited resources that are made available to them, they will have to show slip. Alfred said the St. Lucia Olympic Committee Inc. is demanding performance on the field of play. It cannot be another outing again. He added, we're not accepting the notion that we are financing teams to leave these shows to gain experience. You gain experience at home. You show that you prepared for regional and international competition. The SLOC Inc. will help you along. Trips for experience is no more under the SLOC Inc. Emmanuel and Matthews wish the free organization receiving disbursement on Thursday's success in their pursuit. They both reaffirm SLOC commitment to continue building relationships with members. Because of time, I will be working or checking a statement Alfred made here. And next week I'll be dealing with it. Trips for experience is no more under the SLOC banner. Where do you get experience? Locally? Alfred? Next week, I will be dealing with that. Anyway, I will be heading down to the south of the island, and I'm motoring my way to Vieux-Fort, and I will be speaking to a prominent individual. And St. Lucia, when you hear certain things, you just have to you're telling the athletes. Anyway, like I said, I will tackle that next week. Yeah, okay. trying to get my food guess, but just come back to this Alfred thing. I just want to check something here. I'll share with you. And I want to say, how can you gain experience at home, all right? When St. Lucia is not hosting regional or international events. We were scheduled to host, how they call it, Commonwealth Junior Championship in 2017. What happened? St. Jude took over the George Olem Stadium, all right? 2017 was held in the Bahamas, right? Julian Alfred won St. Lucia's first goal. Okay? And you can look at it in a number of areas. And I want to say here on this program, Trips for Experience is no more under the SLOC Inc. This is pure. Alfred, you don't believe what I want to say. But I'll invite you on my program. I hope you accept the invitation so we can iron out certain things or certain statements that you've been making. All right? Okay, I was trying to get my third guess, but there appears to be some mix-up in the his return of call. But I will, before I leave, I will try and get. But let's look at some tennis news. And of course, I don't know if you can recall, last year I had this young lady, Georgia Medrick, in studio with her mum. I want to take time out to congratulate Georgia, a tennis player and former student of the Leoness Comprehensive School, who is currently at Springfield College in the USA. Springfield College women tennis team remained unbeaten with a 6-2 win over St. Scholastica to close out their spring break trip to Florida on Thursday. Of course, Georgia handed Custer de Biro 6-6 to defeat. The Pride is now 6-0 on the season, marking the best start in the program history since Springfield opened up in 1995 with a 7-0 mark. I think I have a picture of Georgia, for those of you who can't remember her, that's her here. Of course, St. Lucia, we have our people out there and they continue to perform at a very high standard. I will look at some karate news. Karate Do Federation St. Lucia has embarked on a national squad training program in preparation for St. Lucia participation in the Commonwealth Karate Do Championship in Birmingham, UK in early September 2022. The program is being executed by Kumite coach Sensei Michael Wellington and kata coach Sensei Dr. Ezra Jabatis. Head of karate organization affiliated to the federation are invited to send the athletes who show promise in kata and kumite to join the training program. Head should contact the coaches for more information. I will make a final attempt to get in touch with my final in-calling guest. He was just saying that he was waiting. Yeah. 712? 712? No, 712. Sanusha, it's my bad, you know. my bad, Sanusha. I had the wrong digit there for a short while, yeah. So I will be getting in touch with my final, yeah. You see, when you preparing these events at such wee hours of the morning, these things happen. My sincerest apology. I will be getting in touch with my final guest in a short while. Yeah, yes, my guest is here. Yeah. Yes, good evening, Bellas.
How do you do, Tony? Good evening. Good evening to you. Good evening to the left and Lucian, wherever else you're listening in the diaspora.
My sincere apology. You see, when you up late working, these things do happen. You realize what time I sent you a message, right? It was wee hours of the morning. I was still up trying to finish up some stuff. So apparently I put a wrong digit. Instead of 716, I put 712.
yeah, between you and I think we'll have to explain how the finger works.
Why I tell you. But anyway, St. Lucia, this is Emmanuel Bellas, president of the Vieux-Fort South Football League, and of course, first vice president of the St. Lucia Football Association. And let me make it clear here to St. Lucia, I am not going to engage Mr. Bellas in anything whatsoever pertaining to St. Lucia Football Association events or activities. I'm going to speak directly concerning football in the south of the island. Good evening again, Bellas.
Yes, Divoville.
Last weekend you were re-elected to serve for another term as president of Vieux-Fort South Football League. But quickly, the term is what, 2 years, 4 years?
2 years.
2 years, okay. With you, you have alongside Jim Alexander, first vice president, Ricky Etienne, second vice president, Examen Philbert, secretary, Chanel Louis, treasurer, Lisa Albert, assistant secretary, treasurer, and Mervyn Bellas, PRO. I know it was successful, despite there were a few hitches a day or two or 48 hours just before, but it was a successful election. What did it tell me? Tell my listeners, what is it that you and your executive will be bringing to the table in that new term?
I think more than anything else, what has affected Vieux-Fort football over the past year and a half, and I understand that, is that the affiliates or the football clubs were crying for a little more or a lot more domestic football. I think the Vieux-Fort playing field, the Maslin ground, was being utilized for a lot of activities, national football, veterans football, black hat football, and other community activities. So that, to some extent, put a little hindrance on the amount of activities that we could have had. But that notwithstanding, we have recognized that, and what we're expecting to do this year is to give the clubs a little more of what they have been asking for, and that, more than anything else, is to keep them between the goal lines and the touch lines.
Following the event or the election, you also met with even Sports Minister Kenton Kazime. What are some of the issues we discussed, and which are your priorities?
And let me state up front that it was not a decision where the result of the election indicated that the minister would have had to meet with the new executive. The minister did call a couple of weeks ago and indicated that he had a visit to the Southern sporting entities on that day. And when he called, he wanted to know what would have been a good time on that day to meet with the executive of the Football League. So I did indicate to him that on that day, the Vieux-Fort League would have had the Congress. And the best time would have, and at that Congress, we would have had our elections. So if he had to meet, he would have had to meet with the incoming executive. It did not matter to him which executive that he met. What he wanted to do was to meet the body responsible for football. So he indicated that about 3 o'clock would have been a good time to meet whichever executive that was put in place.
Great.
But out of the discussion, the minister did pledge his support for the continued development of sports in Vieux-Fort. We did look at what it was that can be done in terms of improving some of the playing areas that we have in Vieux-Fort. And you're talking about the Dames playing field, the Larissus playing field, the Contournen playing field. We also discussed the accessibility to the Masley grounds to allow us to have a little more competition, but more so in terms of how we can get technical support from the Department of Sports or the Ministry of Youth and Sports, even for accessing funding, probably for the National Lotteries Authority.
Great. But the question of lighting, any talk on the lighting at the Masley, Philip Masley?
Fortunately for us, even before he was minister, as a media person, he was regular at the Masley grounds when there were sporting activities, and he did indicate that the condition of the lights were not the best because they even affected the quality of pictures of videos that he had to capture on that ground. So he's fully aware of the condition, and he did pledge as well the possibility of great improvements on that area. What he explained to us, I am not certain that I am at liberty to make it public because I am not sure how public he has made it. So I do not think that I am at liberty until he decides what it is that he's going to do in terms of improvement. But he did indicate to us that there is every possibility that lighting, not only at the Masley grounds but on other grounds in St. Lucia, are done for improvement.
Yeah, I do respect the latter part of the comment that you just made. Not sure whether anything has been made public. In terms of your local competition, not really local competition, but in terms of the football aspect on the ground in Vieux-Fort, what's the plan like in terms of your grassroots and other workshops and so on?
Coming out of the Congress on Saturday, the executive did meet on Thursday night. And what we have done is to assign the portfolios to different executive officers. These executive officers also have part of their responsibility based on the portfolios that they have is to look at activities that can run throughout the year, which of course would also include on the field aspect. So we have personal development, you have on the field, you have youth development, you have female development. When these are put together, there is a period of time by which the submissions have to be made. We also intend within the next 2 weeks to meet with the clubs to look at some of the areas that affect them and what the input could be. So when we have gotten from the different executive officers, when we have met with the teams, or the clubs rather, we are going to take everything that has been said, work with what is feasible, put it together and present to the clubs what we would consider to be an elaborate program for the year 2022. We are not going to plan anything outside of the clubs that are affiliated to the league. So everything that we are going to do is going to be planned in conjunction with the clubs. So to a large extent, we would be taking our cue and our guidance from them because they did indicate a level of dissatisfaction in terms of what happened. So if there are matters that affected them and we believe they have to be addressed, let's get their input and move forward with that.
I totally agree with the clubs on that one. But interestingly, as you mentioned clubs, how many clubs you have under your banner?
The Vieux-Fort South Football League has 7 clubs affiliated to it, which includes Platinum, Uptown Rebels, Shambhala Shiloh, Victory Eagles, Mang United, Night Sports Club, and what's the other one? Is not the other one? Oops, I keep forgetting the other one.
That's okay.
Yeah, but there are 7 of them.
Okay, and. You have a interesting game on Tuesday evening at the Denry playing field, Vieux-Fort South Canaries, 8 p.m. Quite an interesting game for you. You're on 16 points, Canaries 13. Your take on that aspect?
Well, I have watched a couple times. the team during their games. I have also watched them at training sessions. I have seen growth in that team. And when I speak about growth, I am not even speaking of the senior players. I have seen some junior players, and I'm talking about junior in terms of on 18, 19-year-olds who have really come to the fore. So I am hoping that they do not get the butterflies in their stomach. The work that has been going on with the coaches, Denver, Jamil, and the rest of the technical staff, I think it's just a matter of them going out and execute and continuing with the senior players to give them the self-confidence. I mean, we have told players time and time again, football is played on the day, and when you are on the field, because you do not win your games outside the playing area. You're going to get out the kind of effort that you put in. Vieux is leading the table. I would like it to stay this way, but however, everything is left to them on the day. But I have extreme confidence in this group of players that are representing us in 2022.
Okay, but how close to you intend to work with the Youth and Sports Council in Vieux?
Well, I know there is expected to be an election of the Youth and Sports Council. I'm not sure whether it took place Thursday or next week. Over the years, we have been working with them pretty closely. We have made available those affiliates the contact numbers, because some of our affiliates are not only football clubs. There are sports clubs as well that get involved in other activities. So there's total collaboration going on between the Youth and Sports Council and the Vieux South Football League.
Okay, Beiras, let me tell you, I want to charge you with a responsibility this evening. And I fought hard on, I really went down deep to ask you, to put that question together, to ask you it. And as a respectable citizen in the south of the island, all right, I'm referring to Vieux. I'm giving you this opportunity this evening on UTV channel 124, and also on Facebook, to make a special appeal to the young men to put down the guns and stop the violence and useless killing in the south of the island, and by extension, St. Lucia. I give you a minute to deliver.
You see, sometime last year, we did put out a video making that appeal to everyone to stop the violence. And all those persons who were involved in this activity, I knew it came from the bottom of their hearts. I need to make that special appeal again to all young persons. I know probably there is a level of frustration, but the gun, the violence, the knife, the cutlass, that is helping absolutely no one than bringing more shame, embarrassment, and pain to the families. Because sometimes you have the situation where it involves families against families. That is not helping. Vieux used to be a safe community. We need to get back to that realm when we could have walked in different areas in Vieux and laugh and hug and talk to each other. I need to make a special appeal to all those young persons in Vieux, especially those who are affiliated to the clubs in Vieux South, to put down the guns, put down the knives, put down the cutlasses. Let's work together to make a better Vieux. Let's make it safe, because what we are doing, it's affecting the family, it's affecting us directly, and it's affecting the young ones. We need to make Vieux a safe haven. So on behalf of myself, the Football League, and all persons concerned, the youth from Vieux, let me appeal to them to please stop the violence, as there is absolutely nothing to be gained from that. War does not determine who is right. It only determines who is left. And the more persons that we can have, the less left we are going to have.
Bellas, well said.
Yes,
I want to thank you for your final statement. And I simply hope the young men out there will listen and take heed, because trust me, it's a very ugly sight on the outside when one loses a loved one. I want to thank you for joining me this evening. Of course, it's not going to be the first time I will be calling you. Or I know where things are certainly getting back to normal, so at some point you will be in studio, rest assured. because now you can travel at whatever time you want. So
Yeah.
I want to wish you all the very best in your encounter on Tuesday in Dennery against Canaries. And of course, I simply hope it will be a match that will be worth watching. I want to thank you and your executive as you look forward to improving the sporting development in the south of the island. Have a good one.
Thank you, Bobil. Thanks for the opportunity.
You're most welcome. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. Same.
Okay. So, St. Lucia, that was it. Emmanuel Bellas, President, Beaufort South Football League. Of course, you also heard from Sue Monplessis, swimming, and Cyrus Sipal, APL League T20 cricket, which goes off tomorrow. So tomorrow, St. Lucia, Day 2, Independence Swim Classic. Day 2, Track and Field National Junior Championship / Character Trials. Day 2 tomorrow. Then you have the St. Lucia Cricket Association semi-final matches at the Minifili Park. And that's it here. So, my 1 cent before I say goodbye to you. St. Lucia, like you just heard Bellas, so I'm not going to go back on that. Okay? But I want to wish all those who celebrated birthdays this past week, this weekend, and the coming week, birthdays, anniversaries, whatever it was, years of service at a working institution or learning institution, happy anniversary. To our motorists, please drive carefully on our roads. To those going to the various places of worship, I wish you safe journey mercies as you go out there and praise and give praise and worship to the God that you serve. I want to take this opportunity to, as I close, to shout my producer, of course, Brendan, for yet another wonderful night. You know, and all those from near and far who continue to WhatsApp and send messages, liking the program. Thank you, and of course for your kind words. I want to say good night to each and everyone for joining me this evening, and I look forward in seeing you next week. Dibo, I'm gone.